The 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter is a significant piece in the series of commemorative coins released under the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Struck in the year 2000, this quarter is the 9th release in the series and the first quarter released in the year 2000. It honors the state of New Hampshire, which became the 9th state to ratify the U.S. Constitution on June 21, 1788, a date prominently engraved at the top of the coin. The reverse of the coin captures a unique and symbolic image. The now collapsed Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation that had been a cultural and geological landmark in the White Mountains of New Hampshire for centuries. Beneath this striking image is the state's motto, "Live free or die," a powerful and deeply rooted expression of New Hampshire's independent spirit and revolutionary heritage. This phrase originated from General John Stark, New Hampshire's most famous Revolutionary War hero, who wrote it in 1809 in a toast to his comrades, "Live free or die. Death is not the worst of evils." The words express an uncompromising devotion to liberty, perfectly encapsulating the values that have shaped the state's identity since its colonial beginnings. The Old Man of the Mountain, also known as a Great Stone Face, was a natural rock formation composed of 5 granite cliff ledges that resembled the jagged profile of a man's face when viewed from the north. It was perched on the side of Cannon Mountain and had been a state icon for generations. The formation was first officially documented in 1805, although it likely existed long before that. It became an enduring symbol of New Hampshire, appearing on state license plates, road signs, and eventually this commemorative coin. Tragically, the formation collapsed in May 2003, just 3 years after this coin was issued, due to natural erosion and weathering, making the coin's imagery even more poignant and historically important. The depiction of the Old Man of the Mountain on the quarter is rendered in exquisite detail, showing the rugged contours and steep cliffs that once loomed over Franconia Notch. The image serves as a tribute to both the geological wonder and the pride of the state that revered this rock face as a symbol of resilience and identity. On the obverse front of the coin is a standard portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has been a staple of the quarter dollar since 1932. Around the profile are the inscriptions United States of America across the top rim and quarter dollar across the bottom. The word liberty appears to the left of Washington's neck, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appears on the right. Beneath Washington's image is the mint mark, in this case the letter D, which signifies that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these New Hampshire quarters, and as such, while common in circulation, they hold both historical and educational value for collectors and citizens alike. The year of mintage, 2000, is split between the obverse and reverse. On the reverse, below the image of the Old Man of the Mountain and state motto, the date 2000 is inscribed to indicate the year of issue. The overall design of the reverse was created by William Cousins, based on a concept from the state of New Hampshire. His design was selected after a public contest and rigorous review, as was customary for the State Quarters program. The inclusion of the words "Old Man of the Mountain" etched beside the rock face helps ensure that future generations recognize and remember the significance of this now-vanished natural formation. The 50 State Quarters program, initiated under President Bill Clinton and signed into law in 1997, was one of the most successful numismatic programs in U.S. history. It aimed to honor each of the 50 states with a unique reverse design on the quarter dollar. The coins were released in the order that the states ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union. Each design was selected through a collaborative process involving state governors, citizens, artists, and the U.S. Mint. By circulating these quarters widely, the program fostered public interest in history, geography, and civics. The New Hampshire quarter stands out as a particularly iconic issue in the series because of its dramatic imagery and philosophical motto. Although the 2000 New Hampshire quarter is not considered rare, it carries significant cultural and educational value. In circulated condition, its value typically remains at face value, 25 cents, but uncirculated or proof versions struck in special finishes for collectors, especially those certified as MS-65 or higher, can be worth $1 to $5 or more, depending on condition and demand. Coins struck with errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or missing elements, may fetch higher premiums among collectors. The enduring popularity of the 50 state quarters program ensures that these coins continue to be collected, studied, and cherished. In essence, the 2000 New Hampshire state quarter is much more than a simple coin. It is a miniature monument to the natural beauty and independent spirit of New Hampshire. Its reverse design powerfully evokes the state's landscape and values, serving as a timeless reminder of granite profile that once looked out over the mountains, and of people who proudly live by the motto, live free or die. Whether in a collector's album or in everyday change, this coin captures a moment in American numismatic and cultural history, preserving the legacy of a vanished natural wonder and the ideals of a fiercely independent state next top. The 2001 Vermont State Quarter, part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, stands as a shining tribute to the heritage, history, and character of the 14th state to join the Union. Issued in 2001, the Vermont Quarter honors a state that officially became part of the United States in 1791, and its design brings together iconic imagery, mottos, and numismatic artistry that reflect Vermont's values and contributions. On the obverse front of the coin, like all state quarters, is a familiar portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932 and slightly modified for the quarter series. Surrounding Washington's profile are the inscriptions: United States of America at the top, liberty on the left, in God we trust on the right, though partially worn on circulated coins, possibly appearing as in God, WR, and a small D mint mark beneath the motto, indicating it was minted at the Denver Mint. At the bottom is a denomination, $0.25, affirming its face value of 25 cents. The reverse side of the Vermont Quarter, designed by T. James Farrell, captures a serene and symbolic image that honors the state's natural beauty and spirit of independence. At the center of the design is a depiction of a person collecting sap from maple trees, a deeply rooted tradition in Vermont's culture and economy. 2 maple trees dominate the foreground, each with sap buckets hanging from them, an iconic symbol of Vermont's maple syrup industry, which is one of the largest in the United States. Behind them are the Green Mountains, rolling gently and framing the peaceful, forested scene. Below the image is the state's name, Vermont, along with the year of statehood, 1791, and the year of the coin's issue, 2001. The coin also includes Vermont's state motto, freedom and unity, displayed in capital letters, a powerful phrase that reflects the balance between individual liberties and collective responsibility that Vermont has long valued. The motto, freedom and unity, was adopted by Vermont in the 18th century and is deeply tied to the state's revolutionary origins. Vermont was an independent republic for 14 years before joining the United States, and the motto reflects its independent spirit while acknowledging the need for cooperation in a democratic society. The emphasis on maple sugaring the coin's artwork isn't just about celebrating a tasty product. It highlights the state's commitment to agriculture, sustainability, and living in harmony with nature. Vermont's vast forests and cold climate make it an ideal region for maple production, and the tradition of tapping sugar maples for sap stretches back centuries, involving both indigenous techniques and colonial methods. This act of collecting sap is also symbolic of patience, care, and the transformation of natural resources into something sweet and valuable, all values Vermont holds dear. The Denver Mint's D mint mark is located to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. Coins from the Denver Mint are generally circulated more heavily in the western United States. The 2001 Vermont Quarter was also produced at the Philadelphia Mint with a P mint mark and in limited collector's editions at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. In total, over 450 million Vermont quarters were struck for circulation, making them common in pocket change but still meaningful to collectors, especially those assembling complete 50-state quarter sets. Numismatically, the Vermont Quarter holds modest monetary value in circulated condition, typically worth face value, 25 cents. But uncirculated or proof versions can command slightly higher prices depending on quality, mint mark, and preservation. For example, a brilliant uncirculated Vermont Quarter from the Denver Mint might fetch around $1 to $2, while proof coins, especially the 90% silver proof versions from San Francisco, can be worth $4 to $10 or more, depending on the market. Interestingly, some coin collectors look for errors or die varieties among state quarters, and the Vermont quarter is no exception. Examples of double dies, misstrikes, or off-center strikes, while rare, are sought by collectors and can significantly increase a coin's value. Most Vermont quarters, however, were well struck and mass-produced without major varieties. The Vermont quarter is part of the third year of the 50 State Quarter Series, which began in 1999 and ran through 2008, releasing 5 new designs each year in the order states joined the Union. The series was immensely popular and introduced many Americans, especially children, to coin collecting for the first time. The Vermont design, with its peaceful, rustic setting and dignified motto, exemplifies the strength of the program, showing each state's identity through compact, powerful symbolism. Its themes of freedom, unity, tradition, and natural beauty are timeless, and the coin continues to resonate with those who admire Vermont's landscape and values. In summary, the 2001 Vermont State Quarter is much more than just a piece of currency. It is a miniature monument to a state proud of its heritage, independence, and connection to the land. From the sap buckets to the mountains, from freedom and unity to liberty, and in God we trust, every detail on the coin tells a story of a people, a place, and the ideals that endure. While its face value may be modest, its cultural and historical value is rich, especially to Vermonters, collectors, and anyone who appreciates the legacy behind the coins we use every day next top. The 2001 Kentucky State Quarter, part of the 50 State Quarters program launched by the United States Mint, holds a special place in American numismatic history. Issued as the 15th coin in the series, it commemorates Kentucky's admission to the Union in 1792 as the 15th state. The obverse of the coin features a standard John Flanagan portrait of George Washington, with inscriptions, United States of America, $quarter, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the mint mark, such as D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. However, it's the reverse design, emblematic of Kentucky's rich cultural and historical identity, that draws the greatest interest. At the center of the reverse, a grand federal-style mansion, known as my old Kentucky home, officially named Federal Hill Mansion, is prominently displayed. This mansion, located in Bardstown, Kentucky, is closely associated with Stephen Foster's iconic song My Old Kentucky Home, which is also the state song. The mansion's depiction on the coin is more than just an architectural tribute. It evokes the legacy of Southern antebellum culture, art, and the state's enduring connection to music and poetry. In the foreground of the mansion stands a beautifully detailed thoroughbred horse looking out from behind a white plank fence, a reference to Kentucky's globally celebrated reputation for thoroughbred horse breeding and racing. The state is home to the famous Kentucky Derby, part of the Triple Crown of thoroughbred racing, which is held annually at Churchill Downs in Louisville. The inclusion of the horse not only highlights the state's leading role in the equestrian world, but also serves as a symbol of freedom, strength, and Kentucky's vibrant rural traditions. The gently sloping hills and fences speak to the picturesque countryside that defines much of central Kentucky, especially the bluegrass region, where rich limestone soil contributes to superior horse conditioning and bluegrass pastures. Inscribed on the coin are the words Kentucky 1792 at the top, referencing the year Kentucky became the first U.S. state west of the Appalachian Mountains to join the Union. Beneath the main scene are the words My Old Kentucky Home, in reference to the cultural touchstone, and at the bottom is the year of issue, 2001, along with the traditional inscription E Pluribus Unum, out of many one, which reflects the unity of the states in forming a single nation. The composition of the coin is a standard for modern quarters, composed of a copper core clad in a copper nickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel outer layer, with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams. More than just a circulating coin, the Kentucky State Quarter functions as a miniature historical monument, capturing the essence of the state's heritage. Kentucky played a crucial role in early American expansion and development. It was a home state of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy, highlighting the state's deeply divided loyalties during the Civil War. Kentucky has long held a complex identity, acting as a cultural bridge between North and South, with both Appalachian and Deep South influences. The Federal Hill mansion depicted on the coin was built by Judge John Rowan in the early 1800s and was often visited by Stephen Foster, who was inspired to write the famous ballad that later became a symbol of longing and nostalgia for home. The coin was minted in high numbers, over 700 million combined across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making it widely available in circulation, but still cherished by collectors for its rich symbolism and artistic design. Collectors and historians alike appreciate the coin for encapsulating the pride of Kentuckians in their traditions, from horse racing to Southern hospitality, and for honoring a melody that has echoed in American hearts for generations. My Old Kentucky Home is more than a song. It is a state of mind, evoking pastoral beauty, musical legacy, and historical weight, all perfectly encapsulated in the design of this quarter. In terms of value, circulated Kentucky quarters typically hold face value, but uncirculated or proof versions, especially those struck in silver, may hold modest premiums depending on condition. The coin continues to be a source of regional pride and is often used in educational programs to teach about Kentucky's geography, culture, and historical significance. As part of the larger 50 State Quarters initiative, which ran from 1999 to 2008, this coin also helped spur a renewed interest in American coin collecting and in learning about the unique stories behind each state's entry into the Union. Ultimately, the 2001 Kentucky quarter stands as a shining example of how a small piece of metal can convey so much about identity, memory, and the beauty of home next top. The 2001 North Carolina State Quarter is part of the 50 State Quarters program, a groundbreaking coin series issued by the United States Mint between 1999 and 2008. Each coin in the series honors one of the 50 states, with designs reflecting each state's unique heritage, symbols, and history. The North Carolina Quarter, released in 2001, was the 12th coin in this series and was issued in honor of North Carolina's statehood, which was ratified in 1789. This quarter features a blend of symbolic imagery, historical commemoration, and modern American minting craftsmanship, all encapsulated within a small but powerful circulating coin. The obverse front side of the coin bears a standard portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, which was originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 for the bicentennial of Washington's birth. Around his profile, the inscriptions read, "United States of America" along the top rim, "Liberty" to the left, and "In God We Trust" to the right. Beneath Washington's neck is the mint mark, which in this case is D, identifying the Denver Mint as the coin production facility. Below the bust, the denomination $quarter is clearly inscribed, indicating the coin's face value of 25 cents. Although this design remained consistent across all state quarters, the reverse of each coin changed to reflect the selected state's imagery. The reverse back of the 2001 North Carolina quarter features the historic Wright Flyer, the world's first successful powered aircraft, designed and flown by Orville and Wilbur Wright. This iconic design pays tribute to the first powered, controlled, and sustained human flight, which took place on December 17, 1903, on the windswept dunes of Kill Devil Hills near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The image on the coin captures the Wright Flyer midair during its momentous flight, with Orville piloting the aircraft while Wilbur ran alongside. In the background are three witnesses observing the flight, replicating the famous photograph taken during this historic event. Encircling the central image of the inscriptions North Carolina at the top, 1789 beneath it, marking North Carolina's admission to the Union, and First Flight across the center, proudly celebrating the state's connection to aviation history. At the bottom is the date of the quarter's release, 2001, and the motto, E Pluribus Unum, Latin for out of many one, which reflects the unity of the states within the American Republic. The release of this quarter generated significant public interest, especially among coin collectors, aviation enthusiasts, and those proud of North Carolina's vital role in the history of flight. The design was selected after a public contest and vetting by the state's Coin Commission, ultimately choosing a theme that best symbolized the innovation and pioneering spirit North Carolina contributed to human achievement. The Wright brothers, although natives of Ohio, chose North Carolina for their experiments because of its favorable wind conditions and remote landscape. The state has since adopted the slogan, First in Flight, to honor its place in aviation history, a phrase that prominently accompanies a state's identity, even appearing on its license plates. From a technical perspective, this quarter is composed of copper-nickel clad, consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams. Like all circulating U.S. quarters of its era, it features a reeded edge. Tens of millions of North Carolina quarters were minted across the three major U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver D; and San Francisco S. For proof versions, the D mint mark on your quarter signifies it was struck at the Denver Mint, which typically produce large quantities for general circulation. While most of these coins hold only face value due to their widespread production, higher-grade uncirculated or proof examples can fetch small premiums, especially in pristine condition. Historically and symbolically, this coin bridges the early 20th century technological revolution with the pride of a 21st century America. The Wright brothers' flight marked the beginning of the modern aviation age, fundamentally changing transportation, warfare, commerce, and human mobility. North Carolina's coin thus honors not only the location of this event, but also the broader legacy of human innovation and exploration. Holding this coin is like holding a tangible piece of the timeline of technological progress, one that connects the dreams of two brothers on a sandy hill to the world of global air travel we take for granted today. In conclusion, the 2001 North Carolina quarter stands as a miniature monument to human aspiration, state pride, and national identity. Its design masterfully captures a defining moment in history, the miracle of flight born from humble experiments in a quiet corner of America. Beyond its monetary value, this coin represents a spirit of bold discovery and the importance of place in the story of progress. It reflects how, even in a small metallic disc passed from hand to hand in daily life, a rich and transformative story can be told, one that continues to inspire generations of inventors, dreamers, and adventurers.